Welcome to our course on sequence and series. In this lecture, we are going to see a theorem on convergent sequences in Euclidean space. You may see the statement of the theorem now. Here, in Euclidean space, we are taking a point. In a Euclidean space, we are taking a point means it is a k-tuple. Since we have taken Rk, it is a k-tuple, right? That k-tuple is written in the form of with the notations that you may see now. Xn is equal to alpha 1n, alpha 2n, alpha 3n, and it goes till alpha kn. This n denotes it is the elements in Xn, and this denotes this 1, 2 till k denotes the position of those values in Rk, right? And here what we are doing is that we are collecting a sequence in Rk, which means all the entries are of this form, okay? And we say this sequence converges to x. This x is taken as alpha 1 till alpha k, right? This is going to be true if and only if alpha jn, which means if you collect only the first entry in these sequences, okay? Each entry in the sequence is of the form k-tuple. From that k-tuple, take only the first entries and form a sequence. This is going to converge to alpha j, and this is true for all j between 1 and k, right? This is what we need to prove in this theorem, right? Let us start the proof. Okay, assume xn converges to x. Okay, we are taking the first case. When we take this thing, by the definition, for every epsilon greater than 0, there exists a positive integer n such that what is the metric that is defined on Rk? It is absolute metric. Absolute of xn minus x is less than epsilon for n bigger than or equals n. Right? Okay, now we will have to expand this one. What is the absolute of xn minus x? It is, what is the first entry here? It is alpha 1n, right? So, alpha 1n minus alpha 1 whole square plus alpha 2n minus alpha 2 whole square, and it goes till alpha kn minus alpha k whole square under root. This may be written in a simpler notation that summation j runs from 1 to k alpha jn minus alpha j whole square to the whole power 1 upon 2, which is less than epsilon. This is what we mean by this statement. Now we will have to do some calculation, do some comparison here. What is alpha jn minus alpha j? This is to be compared with absolute of xn minus x. Here we have just squared these terms and made a sum of all such terms, okay? And finally we take a square root, which means this quantity will have to be lesser than or equals this quantity, right? And this is given to be less than epsilon. So this is true for all j between 1 and k, right? So from this we observe, okay? From this we observe this thing. Since this has happened to be true, and this is true for what? N bigger than or equals n, which means alpha jn converges to alpha j. Okay, we have proved the one way. Now we will have to prove the other way. For which, what are we going to assume? We are going to assume that the term wise convergence is taking place, and we will have to prove the sequence in the Euclidean space converges, right? Speaking with the notations, what we are going to assume is that we are going to assume alpha jn converges to alpha j for 1 less than j less than k, right? Since this convergence is true, by the definition of a convergent sequence, what we have is, for every epsilon greater than 0, there exists some n, which is a what? Which is some positive integer. So you have to specify some, there exists some positive integer n such that absolute of alpha jn minus alpha j is less than epsilon. Okay. Whether we are going to have this as epsilon or we are going to have this something else, that we will see. Now with this, we need to estimate what? We are going to prove the convergence of this thing. So we will have to consider this one. What is it? It is summation j runs from 1 to k alpha jn minus alpha j whole square to the whole power 1 upon 2. Right? And what is this quantity? This quantity is epsilon square. Okay. So when you when you expand it, what will you have? Alpha 1n minus alpha 1 square plus alpha 2n minus alpha 2 square and goes till alpha kn minus alpha k whole square. Right? And this quantity is less than epsilon square and this is less than epsilon square, and it goes till how many times it is there? It is there for k times. So it is going to be k epsilon square under root. Okay. So I will have what? I will have under root k epsilon. Right. Suppose I wish to have epsilon here. What should I have here? In order to have epsilon here, I must divide this by under root k. Okay. When I must have under root k here, I must have k square here. If I have to k square here, then I must have k square in all these terms. When I must have k square in all these terms, I must have under root k here. Right? You may notice something. Epsilon is some negligible quantity, which means epsilon upon under root k is also some negligible quantity since k is a positive integer. Right? So this tells you what? This tells you absolute of xn minus x less than epsilon for n bigger than or equals n, because we have assumed this thing for n bigger than or equals n. Only for this case we are talking. Okay. So this is also true for this case only. And hence this tells you what? Your xn converges to x. Right? Now we have proved these things, and in the second part of this theorem you may see in the statement, here we are taking two sequences which are converging in a Euclidean space, and we are going to talk about the algebra of the sequences in Euclidean space. Algebra of convergent sequences in Euclidean space. Right? In order to study this thing, we will have to recall something from the previous lectures, that is algebra of convergent sequences. Hope you have remembered the things. That is, if we have two sequences Sn which converges to S and Tn which converges to T, we had what? Sn plus Tn converges to S plus T, and Sn Tn converges to St, and 1 upon Sn converges to 1 upon S. This is true only when your Sn, all the terms in Sn is non-zero as well as S is non-zero, and constant multiple of the sequence converges to constant multiple of the limit, and constant plus some sequence converges to constant plus the limit. These were true in what? These are true only in the space of complex numbers, right? In the set of complex numbers. Whenever we speak of complex numbers, we may have, this is also true in real numbers, because real numbers is a subset of complex numbers, and you may treat every real number as a complex number with imaginary value 0, right? So these are the things that we have seen in the previous lectures. Here, what are the things that we are going to do? We are going to take two sequences in Euclidean spaces. Let us name them as xn which converges to x and yn which converges to y. Okay, what is this xn? This is alpha 1n, alpha 2n till alpha kn. And similarly, what is yn? Let us take this to be some gamma 1n, gamma 2n till gamma kn, right? These xn, yn are sequences in Euclidean space, means that each entry in this sequence is a k-tuple, right? And let us define the addition of two sequences. How do we define the addition of two sequences? In this manner. Term-wise addition has to be there. Now, what is this? This is this k-tuple. Yn is this k-tuple. So, when you add it, you will have to perform a term-wise addition inside the tuple. So, you will have alpha 1n plus gamma 1n, alpha 2n plus gamma 2n, and it goes till alpha kn plus gamma kn. Right? Now, what are these things? Now, you may see that when you collect only these things, from the sequence you collect only the first terms, that gives you what? That gives you a real sequence, right? And this converges to what? And we what is x? This is alpha 1, alpha 2 till alpha k, and this is gamma 1, gamma 2 till gamma k, right? We have something of this sort. Here, this alpha 1n converges to alpha 1. Alpha 2n converges to alpha 2. Similarly, alpha kn converges to alpha k. So, you have some real sequences which are converging, right? Similarly, you have some real sequences which are converging. Using the idea, you may say that what? This converges to this part. Now, take only this part. This converges to what? This converges to alpha 1 plus gamma 1. And this converges to alpha 2 plus gamma 2, right? Similarly, this converges to alpha k plus gamma k. Now, using the theorem that we have just seen, what? A term-based convergence is there. Therefore, when we put together in a k-dimensional space, that will also be convergent. So, your xn plus yn converges to this limit. What is this? When you write this when you separate this, you will have what? Gamma 1, gamma 2 till gamma k, and this is x plus y. So finally what you have? Your xn, sequence xn plus sequence yn converges to x plus y in Euclidean space. Right? Just like we have done these things, we may also prove this converges to xy, and whenever you take a real sequence beta n converges to beta, then your beta n times xn converges to beta x. Right? It is just, you will have to make use of these ideas and you have to see what is happening. What do we mean by a product here? That alone I will explain, and I leave the rest of the things to you to try it out. Okay? Let me erase this part. Okay? Here, what do we mean by this alpha n yn, product alpha n yn? A term-wise multiplication has to be there. Right? When we multiply term-wise, alpha 1n, gamma 1n, alpha 2n, gamma 2n, and it goes till alpha kn, gamma kn. Now you may treat this this alone as a separate thing, and using those ideas you may prove this converges to alpha 1 gamma 1, this converges to alpha 2 gamma 2, and similarly alpha k gamma k. And finally, if you see, you just have to separate things out and you can see this is simply xy, right? And here, what do we mean by this? A term in beta n, okay, that is beta n is a single element, right? And this is what? This is alpha 1n, alpha 2n till alpha kn, right? When you multiply this inside, you will have beta n, alpha 1n, beta n, alpha 2n, and it goes till beta n alpha kn. You have this, right? Here the term-wise multiplication is taking place. Here it is not there because here xn and yn are this collection. Xn and yn are sequences in Euclidean space, whereas here xn is a sequence in Euclidean space Rk and bn is a real sequence which converges to B, right? Here we are multiplying two sequences means we'll have to the nth entry in this sequence with the nth entry in this sequence. It is a scalar, it is a vector. So the scalar multiplication has to take place, and you may notice that using, now this is some real quantity, this is some real quantity, this is some real quantity which is the nth element of the sequence alpha 1n, and this is the nth element of the sequence beta n. Okay, these two are real sequences which converges to beta and alpha 1 respectively. Therefore, it converges to beta alpha 1. This converges to beta alpha 2. Similarly, this converges to beta alpha k, and put together what you get. If you take beta outside, you will have alpha 1, alpha 2 until alpha k. Therefore, it is beta times of x. Right? I have given you the outline of the proof of this theorem. If you want to write it in a proper way, that you can do, I hope. Thank you for watching.